The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private health care affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Feeling drained? Struggling to keep up? It's time to take control of your wellness. On this episode of Wellness Unlocked, we're diving into the key nutrients your body needs for all-day energy and balance. With 100% or more of your daily essential vitamins, plus added chromium to support healthy blood sugar, this is complete wellness in a single soft gel. Join us as we uncover how small changes can make a big impact on your health. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and take the first step toward better health.
Remember waking up early just to catch your favorite cartoons? WESN brings back those magical mornings with Retro Saturdays.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Where the young at heart relive the fun. Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, only on WESN, the content capital.
Between the Bank and the Gutter, a novel about street dwellers in Port of Spain. This is a book to make you both laugh and cry. Above all, it takes you to that special space that only street dwellers know. In this moving and riveting human interest story, Harry journeys from insanity to sanity while living on the streets of Port of Spain. Now available at Metropolitan Books, 12 Aripita Avenue, Woodbrook. Paper-based bookshop, 14 Alcazar Street, Woodbrook. WESN, 30A Gattaca Street, Woodbrook. And the home store branches located at Barataria, Shogunas, and Eastgates Mall. Autographed copies now available on request. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh. I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People, and Closer to the Church.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I am Naomi McNish. So this morning we are turning our attention to the scrap iron industry, which is once again at the center of a discussion. The TNT Scrap Iron Dealers Association says the sector is under threat from what it describes as an international mafia, foreign traders who are allegedly taking over local scrap yards. According to the association's president, Alan Ferguson, these developments, coupled with strict government regulations following the 2022 ban, are squeezing out local operators and putting the industry in future jeopardy. So joining us on the program this morning is Mr. Ferguson to unpack all these concerns. Good morning, Mr. Ferguson.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners and your viewers.
Thank you. So, Mr. Ferguson, you have raised concerns about what you call an international mafia in the scrap iron industry. So can you explain to our viewers exactly what is happening and why you see it as such a serious threat?
Well, it's not a little threat, it's a big threat, a big threat. Let me explain this to Trinidad and Tobago, and I hope I have enough time that I could really explain it to them. What will happen years ago as buyers, because the mill, the Trinidad and Tobago, the mill, which is in Metal, would have closed down, and we had no other choice to bring in foreign buyers to buy our scrap because we cannot sell it locally again. So we would have bring in people to buy our scrap. And when they came to Trinidad, we will have been able to sell them our scrap. Different people will have come, we are bringing different people. We were able to sell them our scrap so they could have sell the mill, because we do not have the finance to finance going straight to a mill. We didn't have the contact and we didn't have nothing. So we use the middlemen and them to able to direct our scrap straight to the mill. So we did that. But in doing that, some of them will get friends with locals and all different things. And they will have now, they will have started to open up scrap yards. Not really, because they were not able to get license. So what they did, they will have go through Trinidadians who have scrap yard and start to take it from them and give them something based on what will have went on. We will have find it necessary, and we went to the Ministry of Trade and we reported them. We had a meeting with the Ministry of Trade with them, and they agreed not to open no scrap yards. All of that we will have. That would have went on in 2015. That would have happened around that time. That would have ceased. But when the industry shut down, when the government shut down the industry in 2022, a lot of people would have been on serious financial strain. So when they would have been on the financial strain, these people now would have come and start to go into the yards and try to get the yards based on their financial strain. And you find it went on in a lot of places in South, Central, and different places. And when we check it out, a lot of yards they were able to take over. Why is he making the company, them still going along and take over the yard? Now, the reason for doing all of this is that if them is the buyer that we sell into, we can't compete with them, you know. Because you remember they are the international buyer where we sell into. So we cannot export, we can export to them and compete with them locally too. So this is a big challenge for us. And now when we try to do business otherwise than do working with them, we will run into a lot of problems because they will get to all the shipping companies and they getting special price. And when we go to do our own export other than them, the export prices to do things is plenty different. If them getting 800, we have to pay 2,000, 3,000 and all kind of things. And it is a serious market. They came to me too and asked me to run my yard and other people they went to, and because of the strongness in the other people, they wasn't able to take over. But they take over more than half of the industry already.
Do you have an estimate, an idea of how many local yards are currently under foreign control?
All right, well, let me just give this breakdown. When before the industry shut down, we had more than 130-something yards around Trinidad. When the government shut down the industry, a lot of people couldn't open back up the yard because the industry last shut down for a whole year. So when we opened back up, we had about 30 yards operating. After it went through about 6 or 7, 8 months, we end up with 25. Now the foreigners have about 12, and we have about 12 yards, local yards operating. So that's how it is today in reference to the yards and them. Yeah. So the whole thing is in a mess, and that's why we asking the government to intervene, because there's a lot of other local people who want to come back to do business, but they cannot do business because of how it is. When them control the market, they could dominate the price. They could do every single thing that they want. And there's some things that I cannot even mention on TV because it's not even TV. TV readiness for me to be saying it on the phone. But I'm telling you, Trinidad and Tobago is a very, very nastiness in this industry as we speak right now, and we need the government to intervene and see what they could do. Because we as local, I born here, I never went nowhere. You see, the whole thing about it is that when the industry shut down in 2022, it is a foreigner yard they went in and find things and then shut down the thing. You know. It's a foreigner yard that they went in because these people, though you know what, them don't care if they buy TSCT wire, they don't care if they buy manhole cover, they don't care nothing. And the whole thing about it is that when anything takes place in Trinidad and Tobago in reference to problem, we local have to handle it. We have to straighten it out because they could pick up themselves and go to another country and open back up the yard. But we know how to stick here because there's we place. This is where we operating. This is where we doing our business. And because of all of that, we find ourselves have to be fighting all the time to save our industry here. Because how it is, we don't have a mill to sell to the mill here, so we have to sell foreign. We have to export it.
Right.
And even in the next way to them don't bring back the foreign exchange. We bringing back the foreign exchange. Them not bringing back no foreign exchange. They're leaving it outside because you will know if you living outside and you have business in Trinidad, you leaving your money outside. You're not bringing it back in Trinidad. All of these things is taking place. And we have to take the brunt of all of that because why? Why? Because you name foreigner and you have the opportunity to do things. You're doing more things more than we. And you understand?
Mr. Ferguson, what type of intervention are you looking towards doing? Is it that you want like more regulations for the foreign entities?
Yeah.
Okay,
AMD.
So more legislation. So any legislation really for foreign entities.
Hello?
Any legislation for foreign entities?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Ferguson, are you hearing?
Yeah, no, hearing you.
No, the question is if any legislation for foreign entities.
Well, one of the things that strike us is that if you have to get a license, you have to have a certificate of character, and that had to come from locally, and these people was able to get through with all these things, to able to get a license, but majority of them do not have no license. They're operating from a license from a person from Trinidad. So you find is that is how they're operating, because you know when you come here, they cannot open yards unless they have help from a Trinidadian. Because I can't go nowhere, no part of the world and open a scrapyard, you know. You can go in Diana and open a scrapyard by yourself. You can't go England, Canada, America, or in India, China and open a scrapyard. I can't do that. But they allowed to come to Trinidad and do that. No part of the world you can go and open up a scrapyard on your own. And they was able to do all these things.
So, Mr. Ferguson, you know, you would have mentioned being approached by these international businessmen yourself. So just for perspective and I guess better understanding, what kinds of deals are they making to local dealers? And why do you think that some of these smaller or some of them just have no choice but to accept the deal?
Yeah, because you see, when the industry shut down, people will get themselves in financial problem. Remember, if you shut down my business for a whole year, you could understand what I'm not a big businessman because most of these yards they take over is medium and small yards. They wasn't able to take that kind of financial problem that they were able to take. So they would take whatever they offer them, they were able to take it. Because why? They can't pay their bills because the government shut down the industry. When the government shut down the industry, they were still open, you know, they were still buying, you know. Remember, they wasn't selling, but they were still buying because the pocket was deep. Yeah. Wherever you get any money, the pocket deep. Most of the locals cannot do that. Okay?
Are they fair offers?
Well, I mean, they could go to certain people who they see can't continue going along, and if you know you're born here, you grew up here, you could understand that sometimes if you can't take this and you getting a good deal with them, or you getting something where you're getting money every month, some people will take that, but they will look at it on a long-term basis. But I am telling you, and I am telling Trinidad and Tobago, if you watch, we go by most of the place and protest, you know, we do all of that because we recognize that if they take over this industry, we in problems. We really in problems. They will give us where they want to give us, but we fighting back. And that is why we protesting on that, and we recognize that it's a serious issue that we face it. You know, we recognize that it's a serious problem we face it. And the only problem could solve that immediately if it's the steel mill open. So we locals could get back our strength. Right. You know, but at the moment it's a threatening kind of a situation in our industry.
Right. So in your opinion, how do you think, or how can local scrap dealers work together to strengthen their position against these foreign persons?
Well, a lot of things that will take place in reference to the policy and the laws of the scrap industry. As how it is now, there's a lot of weakness in it, in the laws. A lot of things that happening that it isn't supposed to happen. None of the laws in enforcing. You don't see police going into scrapyards and doing what they and checking out people's documents and papers. So people are allowed to have a scrapyard and stretch the scrapyard, open it up wider and broader, and all these things are supposed to take place. If you register a scrapyard, which is 10 feet, that is using 10 feet, you can't go and widen your scrapyard. Why you have a scrapyard, you register a scrapyard, a certain amount, a lot or 2 lots. You can't go and give it 10 lots to an acre. All these things is going on, and nobody seems to enforcing the law. When you see people come into your yard and buy and selling material, people just taking the material. They're not checking out nothing. Nothing being enforced, so people could bring stolen material in the yards and no enforcement, no checkout. You know, if you going down to south in a car, you're going 150, which is 90 miles, and no police on the road, you get into right too because you have no police to check you out while you're going on the road. So the same thing was going on in this industry. No enforcement. No police is coming to the yard and checking them out at all. So we face a serious problem, which we had a meeting with the Minister of Trade. he recognized and all too, because he recognized that the industry declined and a lot of things going on there. Where we mentioned it to them in our meeting that we had early this, in June this year. So we they recognize the problems and all too, but the thing about it, why they recognize the problem, things continue to happen in the industry, and we don't have no other choice to pick it up on our own and fight this battle, because this is our bread and this is our livelihood. This is what we know, and this is people, a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago depending on this industry to feed the children and to feed and pay the bills. And if we allow this to go on, we will be on the breadline, because they will kick it over in such a rapid way, and we won't able to even run our scrapyard because we can't compete with them.
The scrapyards who are currently under, who was already taken over by these foreign players or businessmen, are these scrapyards thriving now than when it was run by local dealers?
No, well, when these people take it over, you could understand. You will understand. They're doing good. I mean, they're doing plenty good. I mean, they're not selling as how they're supposed to sell, because the industry trapped down a little bit. But there's some things that they're selling, and they're selling things like profit, like aluminum. They're selling brass and different things. They're selling scrap rapid as they're selling that, but they're getting through with certain things. You could understand the ban and copper still remain, but copper, the price they're paying for copper, the price high, and from since 2022, them paying high price for copper, and up to today, they're still buying copper. Nothing can sell based on what the ministry say and based on the laws, because the copper still remain banned, but they continue buying copper. So we want to know how they getting all this copper out of Trinidad and Tobago, also without even an export license to export copper, because the ministry not giving no export license. Because the last time I had a discussion with them, nobody is getting license. But we, as local here, we want to know how the copper is leaving Trinidad and Tobago. All of these things is things that we recognize is thing going on here without even check and balance. Yeah.
Do you think the issue with why business is so slow or slowing down so much for local dealers versus the foreign heads? I know you would have mentioned something before with the challenges concerning the licensing and export process. Is that the main or biggest factor when it comes to, how business is moving?
Yeah. That you see, one of the things is that because of what the new government, the last government did to our industry, that's where contribute to people have to shut down, Because, let me say this, if I buy material today, I have to wait 14 days to sell it. And then after the 14 days, I now have to, all these transactions that I make, all these documents that I make, 2 or 3 documents that I make for people when they come into my yard to sell the material. I now have to furnish the Ministry of Trade with these documents. And if it's 1,000 paper or 3,000 paper documents, I have to furnish them with a whole 3,000 documents. And then when them done go through that, whatever time them take, that is when now 14 days by another 14 days again. And then I apply for the license. I get through with my license. They give me the license after a whole month. I now have to apply to load. That loading period is take a week. But even self, it takes a week, and they don't have an inspector, which they only have 8, and sometimes some of them on holidays. And when you check them out yard, you have, and you recognize, you have to wait more than 7 days to get to load, to export the material. And you sometimes go through a month and 2 weeks, or sometimes you go through 2 months to load. with businesses, if you sell today, you have to wait back 2 months or a month and 2 weeks to sell back material. With business, you know, if I have a business or a grocery and I sell this week, I have to wait back 6 weeks again to sell what I have in my grocery. Well, that is what's going on in this industry. That will make anybody have to pay to shut down, because you can't take that all the time because you have workers to pay. You can't pay your workers and you want to pay your rent and pay and do all these other things. Some people would find it necessary to done away with the industry, because the laws that govern the industry now is the laws to shut down the yards, not to people to open back up. There's nothing like that. So we face a challenge, you know. Even locally here, we face a challenge, and it's only who could work out this how this thing going. I, as the president, my yard ain't open for this whole of this year yet. So I could tell you, yeah, and I have a big yard, and I go through a lot of problems, even trying to get my thing, and I have more than one yard, and I had to, and most of them closed up. So you could understand the challenge and the thing we facing. I could tell you, people calling me, they sell their car, they sell their land, they sell their house to keep afloat in this industry.
Yeah.
And it's thing for people to shut down the business and go into another business. When you look in the streets and you look all over, people could take a look at it with their own self. Van men, we have so much, hundreds and thousands of van men. Now, if you see, you hardly see in van men. People could see that they say buying scrap iron, buying battery. That was all over Trinidad. That's not long. That's not going about in Trinidad like how it used to go about. So we could understand all of that. When you see the people in Tobago, our members in Tobago, they have to bring material to Trinidad to pay to get a small price. They are all under strain with it to bring the material from Tobago, because they have extra money to pay to bring it to Trinidad. Them have problems. Now Trinidad and Tobago, if you didn't know this one, I'm going to give you the biggest one. We, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, Grenada, Antigua, all over the Caribbean, used to bring down the material every single week for us here. And you know what they used to do? They used to buy goods and care back when they come and sell the scrap material. We losing out all of that because of the way how the industry is. All of that we losing from the Caribbean. So we under serious strain in this industry, and we need to meet the Minister for we to straighten out this. Not to meet them just to talk. We need to meet them to straighten out this industry before everything could be taken away from the association and its members.
When it comes to support, I know some stakeholders, including unions and NGOs, have expressed support for your cause, right? Do you see that? Do you think that will make a difference? The more support that you'll get in terms of, highlighting and doing something about the issues at hand currently. I mean, if you're not getting the government support.
No, well, the comrades and them is our friends. I mean, they're our comrades for years. They fight with us when the industry shut down. They stay with us on our side, and they continue to stay at our side. Not even the union alone, civil society organization, they stay at our side, and we have a lot of different people stay at our side to give us that support and that strength, because they understand that a lot of people on the lower part of the stick is members of this industry and depend on this industry to feed the children each and every day. This is the only industry that the poor people have that is reached down to the poorest and get assistance from this every single day and weekend. The people, if I start to tell you and the things that we do, let me tell you something, we just go out there every different month and give hampers to our members and different other people in this in industry. We just go out and help people every day, and that is the normal. That people seeing that because we just be all the time doing that. We can't do it again right now. We did it once for this year, and we cannot do it, and we are accustomed to doing it every month. This slowed down a lot of things in our industry, you know?
Yeah. If this situation does not change anytime soon, what do you believe the future of the local scrap iron industry will look like in the next few years?
No, well, I can't describe how it will look, but what I will tell you, we hope and we pray that this government don't treat us like the other government treat us. We hope and pray that we don't have to go through all of the pressure that we went through for the last 3 years. We don't expect to do that. But I cannot tell you what could happen, because remember, when people back is against the wall, is anything that is want to do, I mean, you know, we wouldn't want to fall in that category, because I try to follow the law, because, you know, but we will take all the necessary steps we could take to make sure this industry stay up and stay strong as the leader, because it's a serious challenge when you have a lot of poor people in this industry, a lot of people who depend on you, and when they start to cry and the children start to cry and people start to lose their house and their business, how it is not easy, you know. So we have to stay strong and fight for this industry. We can't allow it to fall down, or we to lose it as Trinidadians and Tobagonians. We can't afford to lose it. We have to keep up the fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Ferguson, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning and shedding light on the challenges facing the scrap iron industry.
I want to thank you, and I want to thank your station and your viewers for taking the time to listen to what we say.
Yes, and we do continue to wish you the best and hope that everything, works out in your favor. And we will continue to follow these discussions and follow up with you as well if there has been any changes, from now till.
No problem, and we will feel free to give your viewers all the information as it comes by.
Yes, thank you so much. Yep. All right, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have some more. We have some updates for you all this morning. So stay with us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity, from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, Well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Remember waking up early just to catch your favorite cartoons? WESN brings back those magical mornings with Retro Saturdays.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Where the young at heart relive the fun. Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, only on WESN, the content capital.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
In the studio now, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe we defend criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Welcome back to the program this morning. So, like I said, we do have some updates and discussion that Jade and I wanted to have for quite some time, actually, and we are now finding the time to do this. Some of these things, I believe, are still very much relevant. Including the current wins in sport that we have seen, that Trinidad and Tobago has seen recently, which includes the CPL, the Trinbago Knight Riders winning their 5th CPL title, as well as Keyshawn Walker winning gold at the World Championships and Jareem Richards silver at the World Championships. So just to put some of this into context, we saw Jareem, he actually made it was a personal record as well, but 43.72 seconds, which secured him the silver in the men's 400 meters. And then Keyshawn Walcott, he got gold with 88.16 meters, with an 88.16 meter throw of the javelin. And that pushed TNT to 14th place on the medal table out of nearly 200 countries, which is incredible, right?
Absolutely incredible.
And then we also saw, so with that now, once they came home, the government did say they wanted to give, they were going to decide on what they were going to award Keyshawn and Jareem as well as the CPL team. So we'll get to that in a few. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that Jareem, while he was grateful and he was expressing how thankful he is and for the support, he said that sport in Trinidad and Tobago needs more support, right? Because medals don't. Right. One of the things he said is that medals don't come overnight, and he said that athletes need consistent support not only when they're winning on a world stage, but at the local level too. He called for more people to come out to national meets to cheer on athletes from the grassroots all the way up, the same way fans turn out for football and cricket.
Mm-hmm. He said, be proud in the stadium too when we're competing locally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a really good point because as someone who only recently started to go to like sporting games, there's a sense of pride there And I know I'm feeling it in the stands. I know that the players are feeling it on the field as well.
Yeah.
So imagine your whole country comes out to support you in this big way. That must feel good. That's how people must have felt.
Yeah, you will do better once you have the support. If you see people supporting you for whatever you're doing, you will do better on whether it's a world stage, whether it's local. It doesn't matter. Your performance overall will improve. And this message was echoed by the Athletics Association, Trinidad and Tobago, and they also warned that without proper funding and sponsorship, youth programs are under threat, because if we're being real, youth programs are the next, the sporting. Just now, Jareem Richards, Keyshawn Walker, they're getting older, right? They're not going to be able to do this, so then we need to support and have these different sponsorships and things available to the younger generation who are coming up in sports, right?
We need to see that so that they feel like it's a viable field to go into. That they feel is a career worth taking a shot on, because we have so much talent, so much skill.
You'd actually be surprised. Then a lot of young persons who are in sports right now, I think they would say also the same thing, because I was actually talking to my brother, who is also an athlete. He does discus, right? And I asked him when the news came out with Jareem and Keyshawn, I was like, hey, why are you not doing stuff like this, like going to real championships, right? And he said, you know how hard it is to get to that point? That was his response to me. And when you think about it, it's true, because the same thing that Jareem is saying now, it doesn't come overnight. And if you don't have the proper support or the proper backing or the support, the financial support per se, you're not going to reach that point. So not every person in sport will get to that point. Right?
He said he's been struggling for this since 2017. A lot of people refer to the 400-meter race as the masochist race, because it's a grueling test of speed and endurance. So the fact that he's been working for this for years, I think he said 10 years, I think he's now 31. So he's been working at this for a long time, and finally he's able to say, well, I did it. And that must feel amazing.
Yeah, and then even in Keyshawn Walker's case, his last biggest achievement would have been when he got gold at the 2012 Olympics, and that's a 13-year difference.
Yeah.
So you see, you can get it once, but you still have to work just as hard. And again, it's the same thing with the support, with the financial backing. And in order for it to happen again, or for it to be a consistent thing.
Yeah, and when people go to try for these different titles and these different championships, sometimes if they don't get it, I feel like it's not just the lack of support, but some people make fun of them. There isn't always that community behind the sporting fraternity a lot of the times, unless it's something like cricket, football. But when people are branching out into new sports, things that can bring a lot of acclaim to Trinidad and Tobago, they don't get the chance to do so, which is kind of sad. And it's partly our fault, because we don't lift it up enough. Sometimes I feel like we're so resistant to change in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I agree. And the same thing with the cricketers now. I remember I saw an interview, and they were saying, I can't remember who did the interviews, one of the members of the Trinbago Knight Riders, and he said that a lot of their games, because if you look at it, right, Trinbago Knight Riders won CPL. This is their 5th CPL title, but this is their first win on foreign soil. So all their wins would have been home, right? And again, the support that they get at our home stadiums is what really drives them to win these matches. And for this to happen now, their first win on foreign soil, because when they go to these other stadiums, like in Guyana, you hardly see Trinidadians in the stands, right? So, but I think just knowing that the entire, that home, the entire country is tuning in, is watching, is supporting, is praying and hoping for their win would have already been a mental, a mental win for them.
I'm thinking if the last championship game was in Trinidad and Tobago, they probably would have scored way more runs. And I mean, the beat was final, They gonna get real action, but it could have been way worse if it was on Trinidadian soil. I'm like 1,000% sure of it.
Yeah. So one of the things that the government did to show their appreciation, to show support, award these athletes with something. The Trinbago Knight Riders were awarded the Shakonia Medal Gold, which is our country's second highest national honor at the annual national awards. So I think that's a big deal, and I think the government did a good job with that. And then on top of that, Walcott, Richards, Nicholas Puran, Karen Pollard were all officially named national sport ambassadors by the Prime Minister.
They must feel so good. That's a good thing that she did for them, because that is what that support is what's going to last for ages. That's going to make
and it's a type of incentive as well. Given these honors or these titles, is you will feel as athletes, they will feel that they are able to now do more for the athletic industry, or however you want to put it. I also saw that, if I can find it.
But in the meantime, I think we have a video of the CPL win. I'm not too sure if we're able to put it up onto the screen. You could let me know. But I just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah, we could probably show that because, do we have the video? Okay, so you can show the video now.
They say that age is just a number. The older men of the CPL have become the golden men of Republic Bank CPL 2025. Puran, Pollard, Dwayne Bravo, with little guile, skill and experience, have outmaneuvered everyone on their way to their 5th Republic Bank CPL title by 3 wickets.
You could just feel the excitement, I love that, I really do. So I found it. This is for Jareem and Keyshawn under the National Rewards and Incentives Policy Framework implemented in 2018. Both Walcott and Jareem were entitled to a total of $750,000, $500,000 for World Championships Gold, and $250,000 for silver. So the Prime Minister announced that they would receive their due.
I love that. Well done to the government for putting that as a priority for them, and well done to those athletes.
Because this is what, I mean, when you become a professional athlete, this is your life. In order to become a professional athlete, you have to breathe, eat, and sleep what you're doing. You can't, and this is also something that my brother mentioned to me when I was talking to him, is that, you can't be an athlete at the side. It has to be 100% what you do. You can't work a job and then still try to be a professional athlete. You have to have nothing else going on, and these are the things that why our athletes, I think we don't see much of it because it is a hard thing to do.
Sacrifice that you have to make.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice, and when you get to this point where Keyshawn Walker, Jareem Richards has gotten to, the government giving them these, incentives, these financial incentives even. It's something to live off of.
Yes. They don't have it otherwise really, unless they can access some sort of fund or they can somehow monetize a part of their training. Other than that, all they have to do is train. That's what they need to focus on, so that they can go out there and bring a claim on honor to the country, and whatever other things come with that. But that takes investment.
Yes.
And is the country's way of investing in them. And I don't know if there's any way they could make it more continuous, more consistent. I'm not too sure what the funds or accessing of funds look like when you're in the athletic fraternity. But based on what I've been hearing from what the athletes have been saying, there isn't much right now. So I think that's what, you know, this particular government had opted to change with this incentive that they gave.
Yeah. So again, I congratulate both the TKR team as well as Keyshawn and Jareem for this accomplishment and making our country so very proud. Yeah.
And this coming from somebody who, I don't really understand sports, like, do not get me wrong. I know I just sat down and understood cricket for the first time in my life. But well done. I'm very proud, very happy to be a Trinidadian. Because even when we got the CPL win, I was talking to some of my friends from Guyana and from all the other countries, and I made sure to tell them, you know, well, Trinidad get through. Trinidad is the best.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. But
no,
I was
and
happy
then
to be able to stand up.
even Dwayne Bravo, the TKR coach, he also said that one of the things that pushed them to win their game was when they got the news that Keyshawn and Jareem did so well at the World Championships. He said, you know, just knowing that they did this for the country in this aspect of sports, they couldn't disappoint. And it kind of went hand in hand, and they kind of fed off of their win in order for them to win. So I love the, camaraderie, you know, that is happening within the sporting industry, where you can see the different athletes, you know, giving mention and to other athletes and giving them, you know, their props and congratulating each other and supporting each other. All that is in it. Yeah. One of the other things that I saw as a reward that was given was the newly refurbished multi-purpose sporting facility in Sandy Crandy is being renamed in Walcott's honor. A recognition of his 13 years of sacrifice and achievement since that unforgettable Olympic gold in 2012. But if I remember correctly, Keyshawn Walcott, he also won, I think it was a silver or a bronze in an Olympic after the 2012.
It doesn't sound completely unfamiliar.
Right, he won a bronze in...
It doesn't sound completely unfamiliar.
Yeah,
you know, it's
Olympics, he would have gotten a gold and a bronze. Right? But again, it's still, you know, that 13-year difference from gold in 2012 and then now gold 2025 at the World Championships, which I think World Championships is the second biggest right after Olympics. So,
So yes, he won a bronze medal at the 2016 Rio Olympics. Yeah.
Which is also incredible.
I think I vaguely remember that. So yes, he's been winning. He has been making Trinidad proud in many, many ways. 2 gold, 1 bronze, and many other, you know, accomplishments and stuff outside of the Olympic.
Yeah, so enough of sporting. Again, we are very, very proud of our athletes, and we do hope to see many, many more younger athletes, especially coming up and wanting to push and make the sacrifice and represent the country in various sporting stages, right? I think now more than ever you'll have the backing and the support. Because the government, not only government, but you know, the people, sponsors will see that how important sporting actually is for youth and younger persons.
And it brings in money.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that CPL and break the bank. It brings in money, so the sponsors have to know that. But yes, as you said, lesser sport right now. I'm moving on to something else that has been in the news for the past week. It's basically taken over the news cycle all around the world. Would have been the topic of free speech and the media. So I don't know if you guys would have heard, I'm sure, but Jimmy Kimmel, a late night American TV show host, recently did a monologue about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Due to that monologue, he was subsequently taken off the air indefinitely. The show was suspended for, well, we know now only a week, but at that point in time, they had just said indefinitely, and a lot of people from the FCC, which is the broadcasting regulation company in the US, would have been saying that he needed to come off the air because these are some things you can't say when you are on public television, but then that violates also free speech. So I believe we have a video to show you here. Naomi, you can just confirm for me, please.
Yes, we have a video. All right, so we're going to take a look at this video and then we'll discuss afterward.
Future of the late night show Jimmy Kimmel Live is in jeopardy. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. ABC is preempting the show indefinitely because of comments he made following, I should say, the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live from the newsroom. Conan, that announcement is sending shockwaves through Hollywood tonight.
It is, Colleen, and it deserves a little bit of a backstory. Prior to the news conference on Tuesday that delineated the evidence against the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, there was a narrative over the weekend that perhaps this man, Tyler Robinson, was actually a supporter of President Donald Trump. In fact, there were those who believed he was part of the ultra-right wing who considered Charlie Kirk to be too liberal, that he was too accommodating to political moderates and leftists. That turned out not to be the case. But in between that wording on the internet and what happened on Tuesday with the announcement of the evidence, it appears that Jimmy Kimmel bought into what was being said online, and that led to the monologue that is in dispute on Monday night. The controversy stemmed from this joke during Monday night's monologue on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show taped on Hollywood Boulevard. It regarded not slain political activist Charlie Kirk, but Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old man accused in Kirk's murder.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. You can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
The day following the monologue, prosecutors in Utah County, Utah indicated that the killer was not a supporter of President Donald Trump, but rather of the political left, and viewed Charlie Kirk as an enemy of the trans and gay movements. Today, the Nexstar Media Corporation, which is in need of FCC approval for a $6.2 billion merger with the media company Tegna, issued a statement saying it strongly objected to Kimmel's comments and was going to replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. ABC Television announced it is suspending airing of the program indefinitely. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, on conservative commentator Benny Johnson's podcast, threatened to take action against ABC for Kimmel suggesting that Kirk's killer was a Trump supporter.
In what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump, who has long been a critic of Jimmy Kimmel's, responded from the United Kingdom, in part saying on his Truth social media, congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done.
So, as that said, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel is now back on air after, I think, about 6 days. But
What did he say that warranted a suspension? Because a lot of people were saying that it wasn't the fact that he kind of highlighted how Donald Trump's response to Charlie Kirk's death was sort of not what you would expect, but the fact that he accused the shooter, or the alleged shooter, of being a MAGA supporter.
Yeah,
he said that was the thing.
One part of the criticism was that he said the MAGA gang was treating the murderer differently, or trying to distance themselves from him.
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the things that I kind of felt when I heard all this whole thing, one is that everybody at this point would be overly sensitive, right? After Charlie Kirk was a very notable figure in the U.S., whether you were a conservative or not. For his supporters, for his non-supporters, he would be considered controversial. For his supporters, he would have been considered a very crucial figure of, like free speech, right? And because his death, the way his death happened, it being an assassination, him being murdered in front of thousands of people, it's a very sensitive topic, right? These late night show hosts, the satire and commenting on current topics in a joking way is not new. That is what late night show hosts do, right? And the free speech is protected by the fact that it is satire, the fact that it's not to be taken seriously, right? But because of the I guess sensitivity of the joke or of the situation is why it was taken so seriously by the media or by fans.
Yeah, but I can't accept that just because I feel like he wasn't the only late night show host that said something. He wasn't the only celebrity that said something like that. That's why when people say this are the controversial parts of his speech was him blaming or and I quote him saying that the MAGA gang attempted to politicize the murder of Charlie Kirk by mischaracterizing the shooter's political beliefs, saying that, what's his name? Kimmel was saying that the shooter was MAGA, and the MAGA gang was saying that the shooter was a Democrat or liberal. So him stating that it was a MAGA shooter, I think that was the point that got people upset. That was what got Trump upset. That was what got the FCC president upset. That was what got everybody who wanted him off the air upset. Not the fact that he said what he said about Kirk, because he didn't even say much about Charlie Kirk, as we can see. Then he mostly spoke about Donald Trump.
The part that he said about Donald Trump, I think, was it was funny. It was, right? And this is what people, because if you take everything that he said, this is what people are saying, that satire and commentary are protected forms of expression, which is what late night show hosts. Well, that's why I think that's why now he's back on, because there had to be some sort of review taken. But like you said, the first part that he said about the shooter, I think, is what really drove the network to pull his show or suspend his show. Tuesday night was his first night back on the air. And on his opening monologue, he would have criticized the government, threats against the broadcasters, calling the threats anti-American. He emphasized that what was truly important was the ability to have a show like his own in a country that allows for it, and that silencing comedians is a dangerous precedent. Dave Chappelle spoke about that same thing. I believe Cat Williams spoke about that same thing. All popular American comedians. Putting a muffle on a comedian or anybody wanting to tell the truth or any form of truth in America, in a country like America, is wrong. Because even if you don't agree with someone or you don't think something is truth, whatever they're saying, they still be allowed to say it. Yes, but I also think that there has to be a line between respecting a tragedy and protecting free speech, right? Because we don't want to, you don't want to say, well, because something is extremely sensitive or it's tragic that, you know, you can't speak up or you can't give your opinion or give or say how you feel about it, right? But I think we have to understand and be empathetic, right? I think that's a big factor. Be very empathetic to a situation. And even though you are a late night show host, and this is what you do, you're a commentator and you make jokes and you have a lot of satire within your commentary, it should not be an excuse, it shouldn't be a valid reason for saying the most unhinged things ever, because you're still looking at the fact that this is a man who was killed, who has a wife, who has 2 children, and you're looking at people's lives.
I would agree, and the thing is, this wasn't that Kimmel literally he gave his support for Charlie Kirk's widow and his children. But if he gave his support for victims of gun violence, he made a statement before he even came on the air and said anything. And I'm not saying that I agree with you. Empathy is important, but that's not what this was in the situation. He barely spoke about Kirk. He didn't even take 30 seconds.
So you think it was more of a political move with regard to like Donald Trump and
he was taking a kick at Donald Trump.
I saw comments that Donald Trump made, and he said he spoke down on Jimmy Kimmel's show. He said it's not even a good show. So you can see now where it kind of leads into maybe a personal, like.
This is what I want to add. I believe it was it Seth Rogen who said the same thing when he accepted an award at I can't remember what award show it was, but they accepted an award for his show, and they would have made a comment when they accepted the award. That we need to protect free speech, we need to protect late night shows like this, and then immediately after that, the camera panned to Jimmy Kimmel. So they said it was some sort of like fortune telling something there. But that's when
it could have also been
pointed it out that Trump had it all for Kimmel.
Yeah,
this wasn't the first time he's made remarks about Kimmel.
If you think about it, it could have also been to raise ratings as well, because now people, with him being back on it, because I also heard there was a point where Jimmy Kimmel's ratings were really down, right? And this move now would have boosted ratings, because to hear that his program is back on the air, people would have tuned into the first episode.
Yeah, for like
to see what he had to say.
But a lot of people canceled their Disney subscriptions, and Disney owns ABC.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have canceled their subscriptions. I maybe, but I mean, I don't watch late night television anyway, but it could be a point. Yeah, it could be a point. But I don't think people are going to tune in forever and ever and ever. Maybe like the first week.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he needed if his ratings are down.
I think it's interesting, or it will be interesting to see how far America goes with this tragedy. I know his wife is taking over Turning Point USA, which is his flagship business, his organization. So they have said that something big is coming. His wife has expressed on multiple occasions that that they are carrying on his legacy. They are going all out, and it's something they all said something big is coming. So it will be interesting to see and follow the story of how much. I don't want to make it sound like they're milking his death, but
what's coming next? I'm excited to hear what is coming next. So yes, I mean, our condolences to Charlie Kirk's widow and his children. That's a horrible thing to have to go through, to lose your father so young. Lose your father at all, but to lose him so young is a tragedy. And I really do hope that they can resolve this quickly, because this just divulged into something that it did not need to go into. It's so big for no reason. We can feel sorry that a man is dead. As quote unquote controversial as he may have been, we can feel sorry that someone has died. You know, and what I didn't like, and what I want to get into really really quickly because I know we have to wrap, is the fact that a lot of people, they weren't empathetic.
No.
To Charlie Kirk's passing.
Well,
I remember. I don't know if many people would know, but this TikTok personality, I believe his name is Leo Skeppy, he would have posted his support for Charlie Kirk's widow, and a lot of people in the comments were all over him, like canceling him, saying, "Oh, you're a Charlie Kirk supporter. You have empathy for Charlie Kirk the Great. Then we're going to unfollow you or cancel you." I didn't really understand that everybody that lent their support. I didn't really understand how people.
As
were so
much as Charlie
against
Kirk
it.
had supporters, he had a lot of haters, a lot of people who were against his views and his opinions, and so you see that. I saw a lot of videos surfacing post his death, where they said, you know, that he had this come in, and these are things, when you hear these things, it hurts, because it's like, why would you say that about somebody? It doesn't matter what his views were, he was still a human, he was still a regular person with a life, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, what about the other people that died as a victim of gun violence? And all the persons over there overseas who are dying in wars.
It's wrong.
And that's tragic as well. Two things can be tragic at the same time. But taking someone's life, what's that going to do besides what's the word I'm looking for? Instigate more emotions
and more hate is because hate this would be considered a hate crime. So if you're pushing more hate into the atmosphere, because of this, it's just going to happen again, and it's just going to be somebody else, and that's what we don't want, you know. But even the conservative side, I know they were also. I saw a lot of posts coming out that they were saying, and Donald Trump especially was blaming the Democrats, was saying that this is a Democratic hate crime, and you know, I'm like, don't do that, because you're going to create more of a rift between both sides, and it's not gonna end well.
I feel like over the past couple of years, the divide between the American left and right has gotten wider. The thing is, for a while, they've been created to coincide. They need to coincide. It's a check and a balance.
Yeah.
And now we're just pushing it so much further that even people you would have been friends with before, or maybe if you were left, you were friends with before on the right. Now
a lot of Americans take it seriously. Yeah. A lot of Americans take that war, that red and blue, so serious. It's like, if you're red, don't, like, the amount of hate you see coming out of it is scary.
And the thing is, it's on both sides, and that I will never understand.
Yeah. So, but this is something we will follow, and we will see, again, what comes out of this new emergence of, you know, Charlie Kirk's wife being the CEO, the new CEO, you know, what's next for Turning Point USA and after Charlie's death.
All right. So I feel like I have an appropriate quote for us to end on, which is, if the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. And that's by former U.S. President George Washington.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. I feel like this is something that they should be guided by, all of them.
I think we need to have a discussion. I'm now thinking of this because while you see free speech is a thing, and it is a very important thing in the United States. But when you look at free speech in Trinidad, one of the things that we have to remember is that in Trinidad and Tobago, we don't necessarily have that same free speech. We have freedom of expression, and I think there's a differentiation that needs to be made, because a lot of people, a lot of Trinis tend to say, well, free speech, but free speech is not a Trinidadian thing. And I think this is a good conversation to have, because many people are confused by the difference of free speech and freedom of expression and so on. And yes, it goes hand in hand, but there is a line, or else there wouldn't be two different laws guiding both of them, right? So
what are you exactly exempt of? Is it social consequences, legal consequences? there's a lot to discuss this. I think that's actually really great.
Yes. So we will work and see how best we can arrange a conversation like this to be had in the best way possible. So stay tuned for that. We will keep you updated as to how that's going and when we will be having that conversation. So that brings us to the end of AM Prime this morning.
As you know, you can always engage with us on WESN TV, WESN CC, or you can WhatsApp us at 682-9376, 682-9376. If you have any feedback or suggestions for us, you can reach Naomi at Amy McNish on Instagram or at I am Jada McLeod on Instagram as well. So yeah, back over to you, Naomi.
All right, guys, so stay safe, stay inspired, stay informed, and don't go too far because we have Sean Michael Small on the hour of 8 o'clock for Talking Point. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning for good news. Feel Good Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
WESN.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.